Hello, my name is Gianna Unfried. Today I'll be teaching how to drive a manual transmission vehicle. Here's my audience to learn as well. Last year, there was only less than 1% of vehicles sold with a manual transmission car. And it's unfortunate because it's hard for people to live out their Fast and Furious dreams then. So with the use of a visual aid as my car, I'm hoping to help teach how to drive a manual transmission car. Whether you've been eyeing a 20-year-old Honda on Facebook Marketplace, you need to help a friend who's drunk and need to drive their car home, or you want to add a skill under your belt, it'll never not benefit you in life learning how to drive a stick shift. So with about 8 years of experience and having owned a few cars that have a stick, I believe I can give you the best with the basics. And so I'm hoping with some practice and with some stalling and some information I'm going to give on the components and some tips on driving, it'll give you the confidence to give it a try. So before we start off on starting the engine, I want you to pump those brakes and take a look at what you got here going on that's different compared to your regular manual or regular automatic car. And so you'll look here and you'll have your tachometer, and that there has the RPMs that measures the revolutions per minute, and that is there, and it shows you when it's time to change gears. Next, very obviously different, we have the shifter here. All of the shifters will have either 4 to 6 gears depending on the car, and most of the time your shifter will be labeled, will always have your 4 to 6 or your and your neutral and reverse. And next, very important, and lastly, is we have the pedals here. To bring your attention, we have 3 pedals here instead of 2. To start off, we have the clutch on the left side, and your left foot will always be in charge of the clutch. And when you want to get comfortable with that, because each car, the feel of your clutch will be different. And just be careful with being too comfortable with it, because that is something that will wear out over time. And then the right foot will be in charge of the usual brake and gas. And so now that you have an idea of what you're looking at here, it's time to learn how to use it all. And so now it's time to start your engines and then start them again eventually when you will stall. So before you start that ignition, though, I want you to check to see what gear you're in, because you always want to make sure that you are in neutral. Sometimes you will leave it in a gear as leaving it in a gear acts as a extra brake for your car. So now you have made sure it's in neutral. If not, make sure you put your clutch in, take it out of gear, and put it in neutral. So now you're ready to start. The car will be pushed down into clutch all the way. You want to take your shifter, move it down to the left into first, and then now you can start to introduce some gas into the mix. And when you're introducing some gas, you will be learning how to look for the catching point. And the catching point is when you're going to be feeling for the clutch and the gas. So you're going to be letting off your clutch and giving it gas at the same time. And you'll be feeling for that certain point where your transmission clutch disc will grab onto that flywheel. And it's going to kind of be a motion like a seesaw, so keep that in mind. And so when you finally give it enough gas, you can let off the clutch and you'll be in your first gear. And that process will continue through the going of the next higher gears or downshifting. And when you're ready to stop, you're going to do the same kind of process. You will put your foot down all the way into the clutch and take it out of gear, put it back into neutral. You can take your foot off the clutch and go ahead and put it back on the brake, and you're ready to stop and pull up onto the emergency brake when you're finished. And you always want to have the emergency brake up afterwards, because you will notice that the manual car does not have a park. And although there's much more to be learned about driving a manual transmission car, this will give you the basic understanding. And unfortunately, it is a dying breed, And I'm hoping the speech and instructional video will make new manual drivers out there to keep old cool cars alive. And learning how to drive stick is very hard. You will stall countless times. You will grind your gears figuratively and literally. Your dad will yell at you, but it is something worth it. And if you're up to learn something new, I definitely recommend giving it a shot. And I don't think the Fast and Furious franchise would be still going on if those cars were all automatic.